When money's tight, credit unions usually get new members. They run as cooperatives, making loans from money invested and often lend to people who might otherwise go to high-interest payday lenders. One credit union is offering an extra lifeline to people struggling. Bradford and District Credit Union accounts come complete with £500 already on the balance. It's partly a loan underwritten by the local council, and it's an idea other credit unions now want to copy. One of their new members is Kirsty, who's a single parent. She says she has a poor credit rating after her ex-partner defaulted on a mortgage. It means she can't get credit from a normal bank.
My financial situation isn't the greatest. I don't get maintenance from my children's dad. Unfortunately, my parents died before my children were born. There's nobody to fall back on. There's nobody to loan me some money. It is just me, my part-time job. You know, I'm a professional. I've got a degree, but because of my personal circumstances, I didn't want to work full-time. Childcare, I don't have the option of working late. I'm in a bit of a tricky situation. So lockdown, although I haven't been going out, has been a really expensive time. You know, my car still needed taxing, insuring, MOTing. The children have still needed clothes, and a lot of them. Food, they've been eating me out of house and home. And things like now with school coming back, you know, £80 on school shoes yesterday at the drop of a hat. School uniforms, I don't get support with that because I'm working, so the kids don't get free school meals or anything like that. Life costs a lot with 2 kids, and so it has to go on that.
Kirsty was furloughed, but she's now working reduced hours. She says it's been really hard to manage her money over the past few months, and this loan is a lifesaver.
It's amazing. I never thought I would ever be able to get a loan again, certainly not without sky-high interest rates. It's just amazing. I get an email saying, if you're interested in this loan, it's interest-free, we don't credit check you, you pay it back, standing order, for a certain amount a month, then it's yours, which it's just unheard of. For me, it's just meant a big difference.
Kirsty from Bradford. Ian Brewer is the union's financial inclusion officer. The first £50 of this £500, that's a grant. You're kind of given that, but the rest is a loan. What happens if people can't pay that money back?
Hello, Melanie.
Hello.
Hi there. That's a really good question for that. And I think it's to remember that the £450 element of this is a loan, it's not a gift. And people not being able to pay their money back to a credit union, which ultimately is members' money, people pooling their money together, restricts us to do more loans, and it would restrict us being able to continue this project. But also to remember that while we don't credit score for the loan, we obviously have to send credit scores back to the credit reference agencies. So if people didn't pay that back, that could have a negative effect on their credit score, which we're trying to help people build their credit score through the loans that we do. So we really encourage people, and we by and large do really well with people. Having contacted the majority of these people, they're all planning to pay back their loans, and just grateful for it.
How hard will you be chasing people who do default, and have you had any defaults as yet?
Well, we've only just launched it.
So hopefully not.
So hopefully not. We'll be monitoring it, but we have no indication from anybody that they will be unable to pay their loan back. Everyone wants to protect their credit scores.
How many of these accounts are available? How many have you given out already?
That was a bit of a surprise to us. When we launched 3 weeks ago, we thought it would take about five weeks to work through 55 loans through referral agencies. So that's what we had. We had £30,000 from the council that would provide funding for 55 loans. Those 55 loans, Melanie, they went in 72 hours, which shows the level of need. We were hearing people in real crisis from really good jobs, previously good jobs that either furloughed or made redundant, and some really sad stories, a bit like Kirsty's.
The scheme has been held up now as an international example of good practice during this pandemic. Scott Butterfield is a credit union expert in the US, and he's been talking about it to more than 200 credit unions. And he says he's impressed how quickly your union, the Bradford Credit Union, managed to set this up.
They had the expertise in place, the relationships have already been developed in the community. They already had this culture of let's sit down, let's talk, let's figure out what your challenges and your problems are, and let's do our best to find a solution for you. It's difficult to create that culture after the financial problem happens. That's what we see typically at the banks. The old joke is you've got to prove you don't need the money in order to get the money.
Scott Butterfield. Ian Brewer, how did you manage to build those links with the council and other organisations?
Well, one of the advantages I have is I come from an international community development background. So when I started working with the credit union, I'd already had as well 7 years with a mainstream bank. During a time when after I'd been made redundant. So I had both the skills of the banking world and I had the skills of community development. So once I had this job, I said to the board when I got the job that I wanted to position us as a go-to hub for everything financial, in education, in helping people access loans.
Do you think it might be harder for other credit unions to do the same then?
Not necessarily. I think potentially a model just needs to be taken that start recruiting from a community development background for a specific role like mine. We have the skills to do that.
Ian Brewer from Bradford and District Credit Union, thank you.
Love and marriage.